Honestly, let me go to another government minister, right? Has there ever been a more useless energy minister than Chris Bowen? Now, last week I listed all the wild goose green schemes that Bowen has backed, only to have them fall over, sometimes within weeks. Well, it's only, a week later? I have yet another example of this reverse Midas touch. In January, Chris Bowen announced he'd invest $70 billion of your money into a hub in Tasmania's Bell Bay to make 70 million, I think that is, into a hub in Tasmania's Bell Bay to make hydrogen gas from water.
Our government wants Australia to be a hydrogen superpower, a green hydrogen superpower.
But now Woodside Energy has joined a couple of companies like Andrew Forrest Fortescue in walking out on this very hub in Tasmania. No money in it for them. Yet another Bowen flop. But while he's investing in energy schemes that don't work and often cannot work, Bowen keeps rejecting the great zero emissions power source that does work: nuclear. Somehow nuclear power is good for almost every other advanced economy in the world, but it's bad and it's dangerous and too expensive for Australia, says Bowen. Now, this time Bowen was in Western Australia at Collie, one of the sites that the opposition leader has nominated for a nuclear power station to replace a coal-fired power station about to close, saying nuclear was useless. He said yesterday Peter Dutton's nuclear plans for the Midra power station, the coal one going, would not have enough access to enough water to be able to deliver anything close to the energy that people of West Australia need. Really? Joining me is Tony Irwin, Chair of Engineers Australia Sydney's Nuclear Engineering Panel. He has helped to commission and operate 8 nuclear power reactors and was the first reactor manager of Australia's Opal research reactor. He knows his stuff. Tony Irwin, thank you so much indeed for joining me. Does Australia have any other option but to go nuclear if we want to cut emissions yet keep on the lights and at a price the poor can afford?
Absolutely not. I think your viewers could look at a good website called the opennem.org.au. Western Australia we're talking about, you look at Western Australia, the sun goes down and there's no wind, 59% gas, 38% coal. And this is the problem, and then you've got this for 12 hours until the sun rises again. So, we talk about Collie battery, 2,000 megawatt hours, but, you need 24,000 to last overnight. So, you've got to have something that's reliable, and that's nuclear.
Yes, the government, the Prime Minister was announcing that we've got batteries here producing power. They don't produce power, they store power, and not for that long if you need them. Now, the government is saying of these nuclear power stations that, and it was not just Collie, they've said it of others, they use more water than farmers can spare. Is that true? So
the reactor itself doesn't consume a lot of water. So the reactor cooling circuits are closed circuits. So the water requirement is for the turbine condenser. So it's same as any coal-fired power station. It's condenser cooling water. And, places like Mudgee, 1,000 megawatts sites, has got a water allocation. The coalition were looking at a replacement for Mudgee of a small modular reactor, 300 megawatts. So there's plenty of cooling water available. There's 3 options for cooling water. If you've got lots, you can have direct cooling. If you're limited at all, you can have indirect cooling with cooling towers. So places like Mount Piper that I've just looked at have got cooling towers, Collie. All these places have got cooling towers. Or you can even go to direct cooling if you haven't got enough water. So the biggest single unit on the Australian system, Cogan Creek, 750 megawatts in Queensland, it is cooled with air cooling instead. So there's options for cooling water, but generally, there's plenty of water allocation already.
And just finally, I'm out of time, but just need to ask you, the government says it's also going to take too long to save us anyway, building a nuclear reactor. Chris Bowen has suggested 20 years before we could get one. China has just announced it can build 11 in 5 years. How long do you think it would take if we really put our mind to it?
Yeah, so working backwards, it takes about 4 years to construct a proven and design. And before that, you need all the licensing and the arrangements and the financing, etc. Say another 6 years. You can do it in less than 10 years. The Opal reactor, from announcement to full power, was less than 9 years. You know, that was an Australian construction. So we can do it if we want to.
Oh, gee, you must get absolutely sick of the lies and the fear-mongering. Tony Irwin, when I've got more time, I'd love to have you back to go through all of those lies. Thank you so much indeed.
Yeah.